As we've been reporting, Nick Reiner will be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his parents, Rob and Michele Reiner. And now we're learning more about the couple's relationship with their youngest son. The Hollywood Reporter's Zeitchik wrote an article detailing a dinner he had with Rob, Michele, Nick, and his sister Romy Reiner at the Toronto International Film Festival 10 years ago. Zeitchik says in hindsight, the conversations he had with them sheds light on a, quote, dark dynamic within the family. And Zeitchik joins us now. He's a senior editor for technology and politics at The Hollywood Reporter. So, Stephen, first off, before we get into the inner workings of that conversation that night, can you talk to us about the movie Being Charlie that Rob and his son Nick made together that sort of becomes even more relevant now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really powerful film in light of what happened, but it was actually even a powerful film at the time because you have a father and a son who obviously had gone through a lot of troubles. The son himself had been in and out of rehab, had been living on the streets, and they were making a document, sort of a cinematic document of their experiences together, and really not pulling any punches. You know, a lot of these movies are either written by someone outside the family or sort of feature all these kind of glosses, but this wasn't that. They worked on it together. Rob directed and Nick co-wrote it, and it really was about their journey.
All right, so you had dinner with them at the time of the Toronto Film Festival. This was 2015. You
Yep.
kept really scrupulous notes. You went back and read them. What did you pick up then?
So what I picked up then was sort of what I experienced then is what I also kind of felt now, but in a much more pointed way, which is that there was still a lot of tension between them. You know, they were kind of out on this little sort of publicity tour, Rob in particular saying everything was okay, Nick was sober, we've healed up the wounds of our relationship. But it was very clear sitting at dinner with them, Michele, of course, Rob's wife, and Romy, their daughter, and Nick's sister were there as well. And there was a lot of tension. You know, Rob, I think, kept trying to will this sort of happy ending or this positive outcome. And Nick, I think, for resentments that he did not express, was not really having it. And you could feel, you know, when you're sitting at a dinner and you could feel like somebody saying everything's okay, and you know it's not. And that was the vibe that night.
Now, obviously, we need to let this go through the judicial process, but this is just your observations
Absolutely.
from that night. But you also write in your article, and I'm going to read a quote here, Rob Reiner was great precisely because he highlighted these family foibles and made sense of them. And you continue and say Reiner was all about sorting through the complexity of parents and offspring and coming out okay on the other side. I mean, knowing what we know and what we don't know. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that makes this story land so hard for so many of us, in addition to just the sheer tragic dimensions of it, is that Rob Reiner was in many ways our kind of chronicler-in-chief of family foibles, of dysfunction, particularly with parents and kids. Of course, a lot of us, across many generations, grew up with him as meathead and All in the Family, and how he dealt with a very stubborn father-in-law. But then even with stories, you know, that followed, or sort of family relationships that followed, you know, I think we really, you know, Princess Bride, the opening scene with, you know, Fred Savage and Peter Falk as the grandson and grandfather. And so there's just a lot of undercurrent here of how do parents and children get along, and the fact that in his own life he was unable to, neither side was able to bridge this gap, I think is what makes it so tragic.
Zeitchik, thank you.
Thank you.